thank you.
Nasty Kelly.
I've been home about 3 months. And I'm going back. You know, I think she'll do is this your break? Yeah. Hi, Mom. Hey, Mom. We missed you. Mother, with us. That's fine.
Everybody's giving us lots of hugs.
Yes. Everyone's making sure that we're not being bad.
All right, Kelly, you well, kind of.
Pictures.
But we wish you were here.
1 month. Almost.
And a half.
A month.
We can't wait to see you.
We're counting the days.
Have fun watching the rest of the show.
The whole time, okay?
No, that's fine. Just look around.
All right, thank you. Okay, I worked at a community hospital in Greensboro, and I worked with his mom. And so we were talking about, you know, just families and lives and stuff. And then I mentioned something about the church I was going to, and she said, oh, well, my son needs a good church. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, how old's your son? And she told me about it and told me some pictures. I was like, high school family, he's okay. But she said he was like just getting over a big relationship and he just needed some friends to hang out with. So I told her, well, give me his number and I'll give it to a friend of mine and then he can call him and invite him to their Bible study. And so she gave me his number and I gave it to, in the church I was going to, they had like this outreach team and they had guys and they had girls. And the guys were to reach the guys and the girls were to reach the girls. So I gave his number to one of my guy friends and then he called him, left a couple messages, and then Alex came to their Bible study. And so he came to the guys' Bible study and basically just poured his heart out to them. And they just really accepted him. And so he started coming to the church. Well, he met everybody in the church except for me. And I was like, hey, when am I going to meet this guy that I introduced to everybody without me actually being there? And his mom kept asking, have you met him? Have you met him? I was like, no, I haven't. And so finally, I went to a basketball game, and he was there, and our pastor grabbed him because he had met him before and pulled him over and introduced him to all of us. And he introduced himself, and he said, I said, hi, my name's Adrian. And he goes, finally, I get to meet you. And I was like, yes, this is me. And so then we just hit it off right away. We were really good friends. And because of the common, you know, I knew his mom, and he had heard about me through her. We just started talking and stuff. And then one Sunday, well, actually, he wasn't a Christian when we met. Like he was a non-Christian. And actually, I came back to Waxhaw at one point, and I was talking to Aunt Bobby about him, and I mentioned another guy, and you know how I was having trouble with him because he was really getting on my nerves. And then she said, well, aren't there any guys that you get along with? And I said, well, there's just one that I met, and he's really nice, but he's not a Christian. And she goes, well, just pray about it. And I said, well, I can't ask God to like make him a Christian so I can date him. And she's like, well, why not? That was on a Saturday, and so I went back Saturday night because I really wanted to go to my church, and I prayed all the way home. And that Sunday, the church I was going to had you come up to the front if you had any, you know, you wanted to spend some time in prayer, or like you wanted to become a Christian, or if you wanted to be baptized or anything like that. And since I had been having trouble with this other guy, I went up to the front to pray about him, actually. and it was Alex, and then Alex is my fiance, so Alex, and then my friend Laura, and then I was on her other side. And when he asked, if there's anybody who wanted to come up and pray, we both went separate ways. And he went up to the altar to accept Christ, and I went to the altar to pray about this other guy and ask for forgiveness for the way I was treating him. And we both came back, and I went, "Were you just up there?" And he's like, "Huh?" And so he became Christian, and I gained a friend again because I apologized to this guy that we weren't working out with. And then we all went out to dinner as a big group, and then everybody else was going to watch his basketball game on TV, and Alex was going mountain biking, and so he asked me to come with him, so I went. And we were 2 hours out on the bike trail, and then my pedal broke. So we had to walk the bikes back, which took 3 hours instead of 2, but we talked the whole time, and so we got to share everything about our lives and like past relationships and our futures and goals and all that kind of stuff. And so we practically spent about 6 hours with each other the first day and loved every minute of it as if we'd been best friends from day one. And so then he asked if he could see me another day, and so we went out. Like, he cooked me dinner that Friday night. And I went over to his apartment, and he made me dinner, and then we watched a movie, and I don't know, just started happening from there. So we practically spent every day with each other, and then,
There's a spot right over there.
and then,
Go on.
September, well, we had been talking about marriage and stuff, and we were ready for it.
telling about her story.
He was very excited about us being together, and his family loved
Anywhere you want, Trey. You're not in the way at all.
Of course. They're very excited that he found somebody that was nice and treated him well, and not the other woman. He was in a bad relationship. But anyway, so then around September we were talking, and he called. I was there when he called my parents to ask them to marry me. And I knew he was going to do it. I knew he was going to ask them, but he didn't say whether they said yes or no. It's like, well, I kind of know. I mean, my parents would say, "No, you can't marry her,"
And you can't marry her over.
I know. Like, 3-second delay, right? What? Was it a no? Yes? What? No. So then he put my mom wanted to talk to me after she talked to him. And actually, the first time we called, my dad wasn't there. And so he had to tell my mom why he was calling this long distance. And of course, she's all excited. Amanda's jumping up and down in the background. He can hear her screaming, and my mom's just like, "Well, call back tomorrow night, and I'll make sure the bill's here." And so he's all nervous. He's like, "I had to watch. Why did I do it again?" And I said, "Because you have to ask for Dad." He's like, "I know." So then at 10 o'clock on the next day, we were at his relative's house. We kept looking at the watch and looking at the time, and then I said, "You gotta go." He's like, "I gotta go." And they were like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I gotta ask for Dad." And they were like, "Ooh," give him all this hard time. He's like, "Shut up," So then we went and we called, and he was so nervous. He grabbed the phone and like walking and pacing and everything. And he finally gets in touch with them, and he like walks down the porch and closes the door behind him. He's being very secretive, and I'm just like, "Hey, what am I supposed to do? I'm here because I'm here, And so I'm watching TV and listening, hoping that I hear some of the conversation. I can't hear it, of course. And then he opens the door, runs in and grabs something and walks out. And I'm like, "What's going on?" Is my dad giving him a hard time? I don't know. And because he could. And then he goes back in and tells him, "So?" And he's like, "Well, talk to your dad." And he's like, "Well, he has one stipulation." What's that? Actually, he said, "Well, your dad says they have this dowry thing over in the population. So I have to provide him with like all these things that he asked for." And so he asked for a Jeep Cherokee. Like, "I don't know if I can afford that." "You better figure out a way." And he's like, "Okay, I promise." And so actually, I shouldn't tell us because my mom's gonna see that video. But he got my dad a present. To him. But anyway, So I said, what did he say? He said, well, he said yes. I was like, I thought so. You couldn't trick me. So we called his family and told them, like, he didn't ask me. This wasn't him asking me. This was just him letting me know my dad had said yes. Because he wanted to ask me with the ring and everything. He didn't have any money to get a ring yet, so he was just asking for permission. Anyway, so he called his family and they're like, did he ask you? And I'm like, no. And his mom was like, well, put him on the phone. So she put I put him on the phone and he's talking to mom. I was like, now? But I'm not ready. And I was like, don't you dare, like under my breath, you know. And so then he's like talking to me, like, all right. So he's like, well, I'll call you later. So then he hangs up. And he gets on his knee right in front of me. I said, I don't think so. I said, just because your mom told you to ask me right now doesn't mean you can't. And he's like, well, good, because that's not how I wanted to do it. And I was like, okay. So his mom had said, you better ask her now that you have permission. But she didn't want me to get away, I guess.
Really?
But then he saved up his money. He was traveling with his dad, and they were doing remodeling and construction and stuff. And he finally had enough money, but he was saying like Christmas time he was going to ask me. So I'm not expecting anything till then. Well then, actually so I'm not expecting anything. And then like October, I don't even remember. Was it October he asked me. And the way he did it, he had all these plans, you know, and you know how guys are. They have this vision of what they want to do. And, you know, our first date, when we went bike riding, we actually stopped on this bridge and, like, just watched the creek and all this talk and stuff. And he told me later, he's like, I wanted to do that. I wanted you to take you to the creek and have it in my pocket and just whip it out and be all smooth and everything. And I was like, okay. Because he wasn't. He had planned this big dinner for me, and I was working. And the one day I actually had to stay after. And so I called him from work, and I was like, I'm going to be late. You know, I can't get out. It's just be out by 5:30. I'm not going to be there till 6. And he's like freaking out because the sun's going down, and he wanted to go out, like bike riding and everything. And so he's like, well, all right, you know. And so then I walk in the door and I'm all frazzled because, you know, I just got back from work and I run into my room and I'm changing and then, you know, he's out in the kitchen just cooking away and he's just cooking. He's so nervous. And I don't notice this until later, you know, when I'm looking back on it going, why is he so nervous? You know? So he's just cooking. And I thought he was just mad because it's late. And so I was like, all right, well, we got to eat then. So he goes and he sits down and he gives us our food and I'm just talking away, you know, just like normal. And eating my food and stuff in my face as good because I'm starving. And all of a sudden he gets up from the table. He's not eating anything, which is very unusual for him because he usually eats like 3 plates worth of food. And I'm not noticing anything, of course. And he gets up and he walks behind me and I'm just talking like usual. And he finally comes, he's like, oh, I got a new present today. I was like, really? What did you get? He's like, well, I got something for my bike. I said, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, don't you want to see it? I was like, I'll see it later. And he's like, no. He's like, don't you want to see it? And I was like, okay, what? So then I'm like sitting there and I have a mouthful of pasta. And I'm just sitting back in my chair and he comes around and he kneels down and he has one of those boxes with a button on it. And he puts it on the table and he pushes the button and the button pops up and I know it's the ring and I looked at him and I went, no. And he went, will you marry me? And I was like, yes. And I like jumped on him and smashed it to the ground. He's like, don't you want to see the ring? And I was like, I'll see it later. He's like, no. He said, you have to see it now. I put a lot of work into this. So I looked at the ring. I said, it's beautiful. And then I hugged him again. And then we went out and had dessert at like a restaurant. Of course, we were like grinning from ear to ear and everything. So, but he told me later, he's like, I was so nervous because my apartment was kind of dark once the sun goes down. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. And so he was like, I was worried that it wouldn't sparkle if the sun wasn't out. And he was like, and I wanted to catch the sun rays. So he was like, so I couldn't wait any longer. So we had fun and then they called everybody. They were like, well, finally, it's about time. You know, you've had permission for a month and all this stuff. But, and then I had to call my mom and let her know. She's all excited, of course. And she kept saying, so when is he going to ask you? When is he going to ask you? Because everybody's asking, when is he going to ask you? And I'm like, I don't know. When he has a ring, I guess. But,
So the wedding is
May the 4th. Yes.
and it is in the woods.
In the woods. We rented 3 cabins.